guys, thanks so much. I am back today with Brian Linzer from Nicola Law Firm. I have kept him pretty busy lately. He's been reviewing senior care FDDs, security FDDs, education. So it's been, he's been busy. So thank you for taking the time today, Brian. I wanted to talk to you about, you said you've been getting a lot of questions, which makes total sense right now, on the time requirements in the FDD and how the franchisors are working with their candidate franchisees on dealing with all of the different time requirements that are part of the FDD. So do you want to touch on that a little bit?
Sure. Definitely. I've been busy, and thank you for that. So things are moving along, which is great. It's great to see all that activity going on. So that's one thing. But with regard to the timing, in the franchise agreements, there's a lot of issues with timing, and that could be things regarding timing for opening, or timing to sign a lease, or timing to pay minimum royalties. And with all the things that are going on with the pandemic and COVID, and it's not so easy to sign a lease in the amount of time that a franchisor is going to typically give, which could be 90 days, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. So a big question that we've been getting asked pretty much from every franchisee is, can we delay our opening requirements? Can we delay the time, because of the delay we're going to see because of the pandemic? Is there anything we can do? And from my experience, most of the franchisors are working with the franchisees and giving that additional time to open or sign a lease, or the minimum royalties. Sometimes we get some pushback on, but there have been some franchisors that have been able to push that back as well. And this way, it just kind of makes sense. And we see a lot of the franchisors working with franchisees, and in a good way. Everybody's kind of in the same boat, and
right.
So everybody's trying to work together to get the best result. And so it is something you should definitely speak to the franchisor about at the very least. You have to figure out what those timing requirements are, and then try to see if it's going to be a problem based on the industry.
Okay. So I've gotten this question too from a couple of different people. One of them is he hasn't signed the franchise agreement yet, and he's looking at multiple fitness concepts. And so he's saying, okay, I'm good with this development schedule, which is, one a year or whatever that is. But so because he hasn't signed yet, should that be officially repapered? Like when he works with you, should it be, even if the franchisor is saying, no, don't worry about it, is that still something that needs to be, let's make this official?
That would be the preference. If you can make those changes, and instead of every year have an opening, push everything back 6 months and make it 18 months.
Okay.
Because even just finding space, and then getting licensing and equipment and contractors, and things aren't as readily available as they were a year ago. So it kind of makes sense. And from a franchisee's perspective, you could always do it sooner. Right. So those are just time limits. So if we get an extra 6 months, doesn't mean we can't open 2 locations in 6 months, and instead of 18 months. That's our time to play with.
Okay.
So there's really nothing to lose if we have that additional time. So if we can get it on paper, that'd be great. A lot of the franchisors understand and are reasonable, and they're going to say, so you may get a situation like that, and there is a lot of trust that you have to place in each other from a franchisor-franchisee relationship. So, but usually if you're making reasonable efforts to open up locations in a timely fashion, they're not gonna really hold you to that too much. But if we can get it on paper, that's my preference always.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Talk soon.
Bye-bye.